All right, boys, let's jump into it. This weekend is the NFL Divisional round, so we're going to knock around a little preview of the games as well as our pick show. Before we go on, an update on the pick show. I am still in first place at 66, 48, and 2. Zach nipping at my heels at 63 and 53. Matt sitting dead even at 500 at 58 and 58. Still not out of it. Lots of games left. And then we got Pigoy at 32 and 34. Only 4 games this weekend. So let's go ahead and jump into it. We've got, is Green Bay the first game of the weekend?
No, it's Titans, Bengals.
I'm going to go, and I'm just writing them because I think they're hot. And it's Cincinnati plus 3.5. I'm really not that much convinced that Tennessee is like the best team in the AFC. I know they're the 1 seed. It is what it is, but Cincinnati is hot right now. I don't know if Derrick Henry is going to be 100%, and I don't know if he's going to be the same Derrick Henry that he was, last year and then the early half of this year. And Cincinnati's just hot. I think that they're figuring it out. They're still super young. And I think they're kind of just, playing with house money right now. And I'm not 100% sure. At 3.5, I'll play the money line, but I do think they're going to cover and make this be a close game. I'm just not convinced that Tennessee is that good.
I am going to go with the Titans minus 3.5. I think they're going to have Derrick Henry back. I don't know how much he's going to be able to play, but whatever you can get from him is awesome. And I really like the Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to be good going forward with Burrow and Chase. But I think right now the Titans, their offensive line, their experience, I think the Titans can cover the 3.5. At home, too. That helps a lot.
Maddie?
I agree with Zach on this one. I think Derrick Henry, I know he's a different running back. I know it's different running styles. I know the different injuries, but with what Cam Akers did, like in coming back from an Achilles after,
how is that possible?
7-8 months. I think Derrick Henry can be effective after 6-8 weeks off, in my opinion. I think I think that's feasible. The other side of it too is I think people are forgetting how really good Tennessee's defense was in stretches this year. That team is. And the other thing, I think people forget how hard it is to go on the road and win a playoff game too, especially with a young quarterback, a young offense. There's a learning curve to it, I think, in a lot of ways, and I think I was laughed at. I think Boomy was giving me a hard time last year before Burrow got hurt, and I said he was trending to be an elite quarterback. And I said it pretty early. Went out on it's not really going out on a limb saying that the first pick is going to be an elite quarterback, but there were some questions. Hey, I'm admitting that part of it at least. I'm unlike you who can't admit you're ever wrong, but I think Boomy laughed at me. Boomy laughed at me on that one, and but no, I think Burrow. I think this is part of his development. I think he takes some lumps in the ass early on. I think that's good for you like in the long term. And I'm not saying they can't beat Tennessee, but I just think Tennessee's a really tough team to go into that place and win.
I think, and Matt, talking about that, we talked last year about how bad that Cincinnati offensive line was, and they have gotten some guys healthy. They've picked up some pieces.
Got him hurt.
Yeah, and I think another part of that, Matt, is I feel like Cincinnati has almost not necessarily catered, but kind of tweaked their offense to work more around Burrow instead of, putting him a square peg into a round hole. They formatted the rest of the offensive line to kind of work to his strengths, and that's why they've seen the success this year. I don't know if they have enough. I'm not convinced that
Ja'Marr Chase doesn't hurt either.
That's huge. I mean, Ja'Marr Chase is a freak.
Like an elite wide receiver right off the bat. No question.
And I agree. The Cam Akers stuff is crazy, but like, isn't that stuff more of an anomaly? Like that's kind of an outlier. Sure. Like I don't know if we can come to expect that out of Derrick Henry. I mean, obviously it was a different injury, but like
so we're also talking about a team that was winning games with Adrian Peterson at running back too. So
yeah, Devontae Foreman or whatever his name was, bringing him off the streets. Let's move to Saturday night. We got the Packers hosting the 49ers. Packers at -6.
Money line.
What's that?
Money line.
Why don't you just give me your money? And sure, I'll place the bet for you because that's
Hey,
just
plus
dumb.
6. Hey, I'm going to take plus 6, and I think it's a good number. I think it's going to be a close game. I think if you are the Packers, you didn't want to see the 49ers. I think this is a team that's rough and tough. I'm not saying they're going to win the game, but I think they can keep it close. It's going to be a cold environment. You have to see what Jimmy G can do, but I think that they can keep it close. The defense can keep it close. If you're the Packers, you would have rather seen a few other teams other than the 49ers, I think.
I think the 49ers are the only team that doesn't really match up well with Green Bay that's remaining. I think if Green Bay wins this game, they're going to the Super Bowl, in my opinion. I think they would
I agree on that end. I
think
agree on
they
that.
would
But
beat
here's
Tampa, and I think they would beat the Rams. I don't think they would struggle with either of those.
here's why I'm confident in Green Bay -6. Jimmy Garoppolo has never played or started an NFL game under 40 degrees. It's just different. This is the playoff. Jimmy Garoppolo is not that good. Okay. You don't win in the playoffs without a good quarterback. It's happened like 3 times. Okay. And it's a different style of game. Green Bay's getting a lot of guys back that they have been missing for a while. The defense was top 10 all year, and still has been, and they're getting guys back that have been banged up. I think
let's not forget Jimmy Garoppolo has lost the same number of Super Bowls as Aaron Rodgers.
You're coming from California to Green Bay, Wisconsin, and it's going to be good luck. Green Bay -6. It's easy.
Jimmy Garoppolo's been to a Super Bowl. It's not like the guy's never been. He's battle tested as much as anybody. I think you could say that a guy like that's been through it, knows what it takes. But then again, also has Elijah Mitchell and Deebo Samuel, who are literally not able to be stopped right now. For some reason, all those guys are running over everybody. And the only team that can run like that on Green Bay's defense, I think, is a team with that kind of running game attack. That zone read option that the Shanahan, has been just shoving down the league's throat for the last 3 or 4 years in San Francisco. I think it's just a really bad matchup for Green Bay. I like the 6. I definitely am going to maybe do a little sprinkle.
But what I know we want the 49ers to beat the Packers. I think they're getting almost too much credit for beating a Dallas team that just underperformed that day. Everyone's going with the genius that is their coach. I understand. Yes, he's a good coach, but I think that you should look on the other hand of how poorly Dallas played that game.
I agree, but you got to look too. Frisco's D was outstanding.
Well, I understand that you got those guys up front. Too. I understand. I think it's a little the how bad Dallas played that game. I watched that game. How they got down 13-0 right away. Like you're at home and you have no advantage.
Right. The momentum was just ripped away right off the bat. You're definitely right.
Yeah. And then how were you ever in that moment running the ball?
Mike McCarthy, baby.
It's Dak Prescott too.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Let's move in to the Sunday slate. At 2:00, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the Rams. I'll start
Give
off.
Me the Rams.
I got the Rams.
Rams plus 2.5. I'm going with it. I think they're going to win this game.
I do
that
too.
Defense looked scary. I know the Cardinals. They hadn't been playing well. They limped into the playoffs. That front for the the Rams. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I don't think it's the Tampa from last year. I don't think that there's, they're what they were. And I just think that LA, and we can, on paper at times, have the best roster in the NFL. And last week, I mean, I know, probably could have been worse, but they poured it on and they looked like one of the most talented teams. And I think they're going to keep it rolling. Like you said, that front on the defense, they've got all the weapons. And if you got Cam Akers coming back to run for 95 yards, I mean, good luck with that, Tampa. I think the Rams win this game outright.
You have to wonder at some point, does Tampa, the injuries on offense catch up to them? Not just the injuries, but the lot, like Antonio Brown gone. Chris Godwin gone. Is Fournette going to play? I don't know. So it's like at some point that's gotta. Mike Evans is banged up. He's been banged up. Gronk is always banged up. It seems like he's still playing well, but so it's like at some point that's going to catch up to a team. So I don't know. I probably would say the Rams. I could be convinced otherwise, though. I think it'll be a good game. I'll take the Rams.
All on the Rams +3. And to wrap up the weekend, we've got Bills, Chiefs, Chiefs -2 at home. I'm going with the Bills. I just think that
I'm with you, Boomy. I want to see the Bills win.
Yeah, I think I'm betting more with my heart.
And Josh Allen, when you can get him in the right offense of scheme, and when they can get moving, and they're a good team. The defense is good. The offense is good. I would love for them to beat the Chiefs.
Maddie?
I'm going Oppo. I'm not betting against Mahomes. It's one of those spots. They were a 2.5-point fave last year. Kansas City was. How are they 2 this year? I need someone to explain that. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
And I can already script the beginning of the game. They're going to get down 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
and then the Chiefs are going to come back. It seems like that's how they've done it the last 2 or 3 years.
I think Kansas City's defense is way better than it was last year. I think they're a much better, much more well-rounded team this year than they were last.
But you also have to worry at the same time that the defense from the first 5 weeks of the season, that comes back, you're in trouble because that defense was bad.
Yeah, but what happens if Buffalo starts sputtering like their offense did for like a 6-week stretch towards, in October, November, Yeah, let's not forget Buffalo got dragged at home against fucking New England. So
let's not forget they went down to was it Miami or Jacksonville and got beat like 9-6.
No, they lost. Didn't they lose to Jacksonville? I think you're right. I think they did lose.
Pretty sure they did.
You're right. They did lose to Jacksonville. I think that was one of Jacksonville's first win. I think people are forgetting how good fucking Patrick Mahomes really can be.
And the only thing I worry about with the Bills is last week was almost their Super Bowl. They beat the Patriots. They finally beat the Patriots at home. They had this big celebration or whatever.
Yeah,
you gotta go play the Chiefs.
Pop the cork a little too early.
Yeah, so we'll see. I want the Bills to win. It'd be a fun story.
November 7th.
I completely agree with that.
But
they lost at Jacksonville.
You're betting
9-6.
Betting with your brain now, Maddie. That's a good bet. I mean, -2.5, -2 for the Chiefs. If you really think about it,
it seems that just I don't know. It seems almost
just seems too easy.
We're gonna find out. It's gonna be
a lot of good games.
I think the division. Yeah,
absolutely. It should be a great 4-game stretch.
I love the wild card because there's a lot of games, but they're usually not the best games. I think these are all going to be good games.
They all stunk. The wild card weekend was bad. I mean,
with the Packers spread being 6, and that's the biggest spread there is, and then the next one being 3.5. That means that there's going to be some good games.
Yeah, I think we're in for a good weekend here.
Let's hope.